All right, the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add a formula that will show me my totals for especially for my profit. I want to see if I'm making any money. So I just come down here and I'm going to put it, say in B10, I'm going to put the word total just so I'll know what this number is when I start entering numbers. Now what I want to do here is I would like to total the purchase price, the selling price, the profit. So what I could do is just type me a formula. I could type this is equal to this plus this plus this plus this plus this, and I can press enter and it gives me 127. That's fine, but remember, if you have 1,000 items, you're going to be here all day typing in this formula. Another thing that happens with this is, let's say you wanted to insert another item up in here. I would go into into row 6, for example. I could click on row 6. I could right click here and I could say insert a row. But that formula, if I type this item here, the formula here would not change, so you would miss this item. You'd have to edit this formula and put in C6 again. Notice it's C4 plus C5, but it no longer has C6. It did change the formula based on the idea that I inserted that row, but it doesn't add that guy in because it doesn't know that's supposed to be part of your formula. I'm going to use my undo feature, which is Control Z, and I'm going to take out that row. And I want to show you another possible way of creating this formula. Instead of typing each cell, I can type equal to start the formula off, and then I'm going to use a function called the sum function. And I'm going to type in the word sum, and I'm going to put an open parentheses. Now what this will do is it will sum up everything in a range of cells. So I'm going to come up here, I'm going to click, and I'm going to drag across the range of cells that I want. I'm going to go ahead and include this one so I can add one more item if I want to later here. And then I've got to close the parentheses. And so the formula will be the sum of C4 through C10. Notice a range of cells. I could have typed these letters in, C4 colon C10, but I prefer to drag for the range because it's just more visual and easier to see as I'm creating it. So when I press enter, it should put, oh, I'm sorry, I'm getting a message. You can't see the whole thing, but it's saying I found a circular reference. I can explain that later, but basically I included cell C10 in my formula. I didn't mean to do that. So let me go back and edit my formula. I'm going to just double click here and see I should not have included C10 because that's where my sum actually is. And it's saying you can't calculate C10 if you're using C10 in the formula. So I'm just going to delete this, and I'm going to go back in and highlight the range again. I'm going to go to C9. I must have accidentally gone all the way to C10. Press enter, and notice the total amount of dollars that I've spent purchasing these items is 127. Now I could type a formula here that would do the same thing. I could type a formula here that would add up the profit. But again, I can copy by dragging the fill handle over each of these items. And so when it does, it gives me my total. So far, I've got I brought in 127. I purchased things for $127. I've sold $177 worth, and so my profit is just $50. Now the reason it's 50 and not a little more is this one hasn't sold, so our profit on it right now is a -20 because it's sitting there and we've already spent the $20, but we haven't gotten anything back